up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. The one show on the Outlaw Nation channel where we talk sports and only sports all through these next 2 hours with maybe a little bit of politics thrown in. But we'll see how it goes down. We're going to talk about
I know, baby, because if it's on the run sheet, we finna talk about this asshole. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Already.
I put him on the thumbnail, Jay, before we start. I changed the thumbnail to put him on the thumbnail. So we're definitely going to talk about all kinds of things here today. Thank you all so much for joining us live. I am one of your hosts. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by these two gentlemen here. And Winston A. Marshall will be on his way in just a second. How are you, JT?
I'm good, man. Got my second shot of Moderna. Arm's a little sore, feel a little woozy, but overall pretty good. I'm just happy to be almost fully vaccinated.
Well, let me make this move here.
A little woozy.
How are you, Jay Washington? How are things?
I mean, I'm just tired. I took a nap from coming from the gym. I've been working out. I've been fully vaccinated since March. So I was around here feeling better, like I was better than most of y'all. Because I was like, look at you peasants trying to finally get your shots. Look at you. But no, I'm good, man. Just tired. Okay. Still looking for a place. Which has been a headache and a half. And
have you been shopping around trying to find an apartment and stuff?
Man, for months, and it's been a nightmare.
Sorry, brother, man. Sorry, that sounds terrible. Yeah, it takes time, but JT, you're moving back to LA next week, huh?
Yeah, I found a place. I had to do some virtual tours. It was pretty easy. Looking forward to getting back.
Sometimes that's how it works out. You're lucky you find the right thing. Jay, I'm sure you're looking for certain things that you need from this new place as you're going to take your stuff to the next level. So I understand you're waiting around trying to find the right thing that fits for you. But we're going to get into so many things here in the world of sports. And as I said, Winston A. Marshall will be joining us in a little bit. He's working on a physical malady of his, and he will be healed up and joining us in a little bit. But let's start off the thing by telling you all, the Streamlabs Super Chats. We love the support. You can send them in. It's to the address right above JT's head. It's also in the description of this video. I'm going to pin it to the chat as well. Send in some support for the show, what you can, and as we go along talking about all these issues, and let us know what you think about these these stories that we're going to talk about here on Game Time. All right, let's start off right off the bat, man, talking about this Trevor Lawrence situation. This is kind of blown up as we're a few days away from the NFL draft. Trevor Lawrence, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, said that it's not like when he's talking about the NFL, talking about football, he said, it's not like I need football for my life to be okay. I want to do it because I want to be the best I can be. I want to maximize my potential. Who wouldn't want to? You kind of waste it if you don't. It's hard to explain that because I want people to know that I'm passionate about what I do and it's really important to me, but I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder that everyone's out to get me and I'm trying to prove everybody wrong. I just don't have that. I can't manufacture that. I don't want to. Jay Washington, thoughts on this overall?
Why are we tripping? What does it matter? Before you, I'm not going to let you finish this question. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing we're talking about? Why do we feel like Why? Because he said football ain't his life. It's actually a good thing. You should be glad he said football ain't his life. Right. You should be glad he said that. That doesn't mean he can't play the game to his utmost potential. It means he has other things he still wants to do in life. He has literally said, I will be fine without football. Think about how many people we want to hear say that they don't need football. Now you have people retiring at 29, 25 in the league, 29, 30 in the league. So why are people, we are in this, look, I'm going to say this straight up. I tell a bunch of people this. Nowadays, as liberal and progressive minded as I am, I get conservative sometimes. I really do.
Because that's what happens. Yeah.
I get it because I get this conservative. I get the upset with outrage culture because we find something to be outraged about. We find something to quote unquote cancel. We all know it's accountability. That's a different thing. But just trying to find something to be outraged about, there's nothing about what he said that is worth being out. Football is not his life. He will be okay without it. Yes. And I know people are going to take it, well, there's about 7,000 other people who want to be in his spot. Okay, fine. But again, we want him to say, okay, let's say you get hurt, you get injured, whatever happens, and you can't, God forbid, you can't play the game. You want to be able to live a normal life, and he can do that. He has that mindset. He has that wherewithal to understand that life is bigger than football. So why in the whole fuck is anybody upset?
Yeah, well, the people were so upset, JT, that he felt the need to follow up with a couple of tweets here to explain himself. He said, "I am eternally motivated. I love football as much or more than anyone. It is a huge priority in my life. Obviously, I've driven to be the best I can be to maximize my potential and to win. I don't need football to make me feel worthy as a person," but said he truly loves everything that comes with the game. So, JT, this is a clash of philosophies, isn't it? Oh, we lost Jay. This is a clash of philosophies, isn't it? Like the new generation, like the older generation is like, you should thank God you get a chance to play and go out there. But the new younger generation now looks at football as a means to an end, not as the end. So they've seen a lot of horror stories, CT, all this kind of stuff. So do you think this signals the new approach that will start to be more pervasive amongst the athletes that come out of college and into the NFL?
Yeah, this does feel like an old school coach's room problem, doesn't it? It feels like back in the day, the football players in the 70s weren't making $100 million in commercials. Right. It was like, hey, they just made a living. Wasn't Johnny Manziel also from money? Like, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Johnny, and no one questioned his drive. Like, he really did want to play. It really just comes down to, do you have the skill set to be a quarterback in this league and be a top quarterback? Listen, who doesn't want to be a starting quarterback for a team and be, even more rich and famous and, get all the accolades. So I think it is a sign of the times. Not everyone's going to come from the same background.
Right.
So it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I think people definitely made too big of a deal. I don't think you need to release a statement. If a team sees that and is like, oh, we're not going to pick them, then don't pick them. You're lost. Yeah. Whatever, man. You know why?
People are mad he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, people are mad about that as well. Yeah.
He don't give a shit about his doubters. Seems like the perfect person. If anything, you want somebody to be like, yo, I don't give a shit about y'all. I'm gonna do me regardless. Mm-hmm. And so, but and I'll joke around, but in all actuality and seriousness, why do people feel like they need to make it hard? This is when we talk about things that are clickbait. When we talk about things that are unnecessary and unnewsworthy. This is hella unnewsworthy. Even for old school fans and people who are like, well, you don't have the drive and ambition to do this. He does. He just sees the world as a whole and not as just the NFL. Look, let's be real. Colin Kaepernick hasn't played for God knows how long at this point, and people still keep hollering, why Kaepernick don't have a job? Because at this point, he don't want to.
Right. He's got other things to do. Let's bring in our fourth member here, Winston A. Marshall. What's up, dude? How are you doing? Talk to me.
Motherfucker looking like a war victim.
I feel like one. My leg is fucking killing me. I probably slept about an hour last night.
Oh shit! All right,
which is fun. But definitely want to come in here and talk about people are trash. Leave Trevor Lawrence alone. God damn it! Like, real talk. This boy has already proven that he can go ahead and ball. All right, and he reminds me a lot. Honestly, I know the people in Indianapolis didn't love how Andrew Luck played out, but I think more of that is kind of from the injury side of things.
Yeah.
Homie. Like, has his priorities in order. I think more so than anybody else that's playing in the NFL. He already said it. I don't need this.
Yep.
Thank you, Rocha. I don't need this. No, you're good. I don't need this, but I want this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the thing, that people think that you have to be destitute, and if you don't make it in football, then like the whole world will collapse. You don't need that in order to be successful and to be great. Yeah. It certainly helps for some people because some people need that motivation. But Trevor Lawrence has already proven that like he's gonna ball out. So if people are gonna miss out on him over some stupid shit, now maybe be careful if he does look like Andrew Luck and wants to retire early. Like if he's like, I got everything I wanted of this and I'm out.
Yeah, maybe
don't give him some like superstar crazy ass contract that's gonna put you in salary cap hell. But like, why wouldn't you take this kid who at least, if at the very least, if he comes in and balls for 5 years and then goes, I'm done with football, why wouldn't you want that? I don't understand. On a rookie contract of all things, Yeah.
I think I go back to Jay's point. I think Jay makes an excellent point in this idea of this is what you want from your prospect. You don't want this person to live and die by football, because then depression, mental health, like if he gets injured, you've got to is he going to be able to make it? Is he going to be able to come back and do something else in life? This seems like a very prepared individual who knows he's been great for quite some time at what he does. And so he doesn't need that kind of external motivation, and he's got more perspective. Don't you want that to be the approach? And so this just seems to be a clash of the new age versus the old age. And I think we're going to see more and more of this. Andrew Luck really kind of, someone put it in the chat, Andrew Luck really kind of showed you that, hey, man, this rehabbing shit, I'm sick of it. I did it for 2-3 years. I'm done. I've got my money. I'm going to roll on and do something else. And maybe people feel like, oh, well, then how can I commit to this team if Trevor's going to be gone in 4 or 5 years? You're Jacksonville. Enjoy what the fuck you get for those 4 or 5 years, for God's sakes.
I have a question.
Go ahead, man.
It's not even the teams. It's people who've never laced up a pair of fucking cleats. It's fair. People who've never put on pads and been on the field and had to practice 2-a-days in 100-degree weather and then go to classroom and study film. These are the main people, the overwhelming majority of people complaining. For those of you all who are like, if I'm invested in this team, shut the whole entire fuck up. If you have never done this, if you ain't, I've been on that field before. I understand that pain. If you ain't never done that on a regular and dedicated your life to it, then realize there's more to this. Shut up.
Right. Maybe. Yeah. I wonder, Tom, what do you think Tom Brady's approach to this? These comments are, JT. What do you think he looks at these comments? Tom works so hard now to kind of stay on the field. Do you think he actually appreciates a young man coming into the league who's got a little more perspective?
I think he understands. Listen, Tom Brady didn't come from a broken house family. Like, he didn't come from a poor family. Like, he came from a very well-off family. So it's not like he was in the same situation. He wasn't like a same sex. He didn't have that much money. But again, it comes down to the love of football. Does he love playing the game, and how much does he love playing the game? I'm sure Brady, again, new generation, new class of people. The game's going to change, so are the players. It's more of a business now than it ever has been. So
and we're seeing that in multiple fields. People understand that multiple revenue streams, multiple branding opportunities. This is what it's all about, along with working hard to be good at my job that really got me the fame to begin with. So it's all of that. But also we're seeing we're seeing more and more football players be able to transition out of football or any sports league, transition out of a sports league into another job, become work in the front office, work another job in terms of business, or go into do charity work, go into all this nonprofit stuff. We've seen so many of them transition. We should be celebrating something like this, not getting all upset about it. And I get the old school football fans, well, I have to question his dedication. I mean, it's never affected his dedication all the way up until this level. Why would it affect it?
He felt the same way. And I think the biggest takeaway is to look at what he said in that second one, and this is probably where people are getting bent out of shape. Is him saying, I don't need football to make me feel worthy as a person.
Great point.
I think that is probably the most important thing to take away from this. If all of your life is football, why do you think some of these cats, like, when they get cut or don't make it, like, go into severe depression, all other sorts of drug abuse, stuff like that? Like, the minute all of a sudden you're not worthy to people anymore, you're not a superstar, you're not whatever, all of a sudden this all goes out the motherfucking window. Like, the fact that Trevor has his head on where he's like, I love the game. It is a huge priority in my life. I love the goods and the bads that come with it. It has taught me work ethic and all that kind of stuff. But I know I'm worthy outside of the sport. I would want my fucking stars of my team to feel that way. Like, you should want to put everything into it because this is your job, but you should have worth outside of just your job.
That's therapy 101, Winston. Oh, go ahead.
Nicolas Cage is a Coppola. He doesn't have to act his ass off in every movie. He knows it, but he acts his ass off because he loves the craft.
That's right. Great point. So's Talia Shire. So's Talia
Shire, man. Come on. Jason
Schwartzman. Yeah,
man.
The whole family.
They ain't got to do
it. Listen, Emilio's still using Estevez.
There you go.
Hey, Wyatt Russell. Wyatt Russell's having a fine time
baby.
doing what he's doing.
Well, but you got to remember, he had his people just not remember because he's shaven. They're like, oh, that's the dude from Overlord. They didn't remember because of him being shaven, which almost didn't get him the role, by the way.
No, Well, it's the thing at the end of the day. I think this is therapy 101. Your job is not who you are, right? And so many people, as they do the same job for years, forget that and get caught up in it, so that when the job goes away, they feel like, oh, well, what purpose do I have? What drive do I have? So many of the older generation work their jobs until they can't stand anymore, because to them, their job is equal to their worth. They don't know what else to do with their lives. And I love the fact that more and more people are coming out of the college ranks and understand that there's more to life than just the game. And probably Goodell and the owners are scared out of their fucking minds when they hear stuff like this, because it could lead to them not being in the league for too long, and it could affect the quality of the product. But in the end, these are human beings, and things change generation to generation. I don't think it's a bad thing, to be honest.
Real quick, let me ask a question. Let me ask one quick question. What quality does it change? Because you're all, when you say it'll change, it could change the quality of the product being the league. Well, what quality? And that's why I say that, because we're always looking for the new stars.
We are. But it's like what happened in the NBA when people started coming out more and more after 1 year. Their defensive skills were not as good. Their ability to understand how to play the game beyond offense wasn't as strong, and that took more time. So college was, in essence, teaching you more about just being able to play the game. It was teaching you how to play, being more of an all-around player. And so we saw that dip in quality in NBA. Now that's changed, as it's been less and less people coming out after 1 year and what have you. So I think that would be the fear, that people come out in the NFL, play for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and the best stars go, you know what? I made my money. I'm out. That could affect quality down the road. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it could. There's a difference there. Anyway, so we'll see what happens as it goes along. The draft's coming up just a few days away. He's obviously going first to the Jaguars, and someone who may have joined him in the Jaguars but is not doing it anymore is Alex Smith. Alex Smith announced this morning on Instagram in a 2-hour and 12-minute video that he was retiring from the game of football after being voted the unanimous comeback player of the year last year, after he came back from those horrific injuries. Played for the Washington football team, was 5-1 in the 6 games he started last year, helped us win the division, get into the playoffs, and you could argue we might have had a better shot to beat Tom Brady had he played. But overall, he met with Urban Meyer. He was really considering coming in as one of these backup quarterbacks to Trevor Lawrence. Winston, what's your reaction to this? So many years in the league. He played in the NFC for a couple of years here, leading the Washington football team / Redskins. How do you feel about this? Were you surprised by it?
I mean, I just think I have a new understanding. I mean, obviously not to the level that he went through, but I have a new understanding of what that life is like. This is terrible, man. And he has.
Yeah, what happened?
What
happened to your leg? Tell the people what happened to your leg.
What happened?
So I was helping a friend. She was buying a new VO booth. It was used, but she was buying it from another VO artist, and so we were there, and it disassembles kind of like Legos. So that we pulled the ceiling off. It's about 30, 40 pounds. Or at least that's what I thought, because it was lipped on the edge. So when the homie on the inside was like, "You got it," I was like, "Yep, I got it." And as soon as it came off that lip, it was about twice that weight. And not that I couldn't lift it, but you know that if you're not prepped for that, then you're going to drop it. So I tried to jump out of the way, but the lady's house that we were getting it from, her bed was there's walking space between her bed and the just for one person between the bed and the booth. So I fell on the bed. I got out of the way, but my leg did not. I'm actually very lucky. Because
I'm sorry to be the laugh. It was just the way he said it. You're like, I got it away. My leg did not. Like your body was on this whole thing. Like your body was like, nigga, why you leaving me?
But I'm very blessed because it missed my. If it had been an inch further to the left, it would have shattered my shin bone. If it had been an inch further north in the same spot, it would have severed the tendons in there, the connective tissue.
Damn!
So is this near the ankle, or is it like
no? It's on my shin. So
okay.
I can hear. Let me see. About midway up my leg here.
Okay, got it. Nice. Okay, right in the middle.
So in other words, what you're saying is you and Kristen will not be doing one-legged pumps and a bump sex for a minute.
Okay,
it's pretty much what was talked about is like. Excited for Winston's comeback. There you go. Essentially, I'm gonna have to be doing no work for a while. Unfortunately,
so you're gonna be just enjoying everything. You're gonna just sleep.
Well, the sex outside of it, the doctor told me I can walk, which honestly is still pretty painful. But I can't do any major physical activity for 4 to 6 weeks.
Was it just a stitch job? Basically, you had to get stitches, or
they couldn't stitch it. They couldn't stitch it because it was so big and so obscure that if they had, they were like, I mean, we can stitch it for you, but you're not walking even for the next however long, and it's only going to maybe shave off a week or 2 of your healing.
Oh wow!
So they were like, we would just recommend that you just clean the fuck out of it every single day and keep it wrapped. What's up?
Wow.
Hi. These are the moments where you wish you had what's called a supervillain DNA because you would heal a hell of a lot quicker. Who can say that? I can say this as somebody that had a hole in his throat. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember, I was back talking within a week. I mean, I was talking in a day after they took the tube out.
Of course.
But, I'll teach you the supervillain techniques.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. But all that being said, coming back to Alex Smith, I think what kind of happened here, I think you look at it, he's that person who's like, I don't want to go out as the last thing that happened was this horrendous injury. Right. This is, to me, I was kind of saying that I thought I get it, but I thought it was silly for him to do that. I think after an injury like that, just like, let's step back, maybe reevaluate to the point where I look at what Trevor Lawrence is saying is like, I don't need validation from football. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
This was clearly I want to prove that I still got it and I can come back and make this comeback. And it's inspirational as shit. I'm honestly glad though that he's done. I think that every time I saw him take a snap, I was always like, dude, like the whole fucking time.
when Errol Donald mounted him like a lion on top of a gazelle or an elephant, it scared the shit out of me last year when he was playing against the Rams. It was scary. I agree with you. The fact that he is kind of hanging it up, this is the best thing for him. He's 37 years old. How many years did he actually have left? He won comeback player of the year. You can parlay that into a speaking career all over the world. He can. He's set money-wise, but let's turn to his career, though. 16 years in the NFL. Remember, some people forget, he was a number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Yeah, went to the 49ers, didn't quite work out until Harbaugh showed up. Harbaugh kind of got the best at him. Then Kaepernick kind of took over. He went to Kansas City with Andy Reid, played a couple of good years there, and then Mahomes got drafted, and then he moved on to Washington and was doing well for us till he suffered that horrific leg injury, and it took 17 surgeries for him to come back to play because of infection and injury and what have you, and his ability to rehabilitate, and he was finally able to come back. So if nothing else, you got to give him some props for the fight he showed as a player and what he endured. He's thrown for 35,650 yards, 199 touchdowns, 109 interceptions. His 46 interceptions since 2013 were the second fewest by a quarterback with at least 70 starts, trailing only Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers. So you could argue that he became an efficient quarterback, even if the first few years he looked like he was going to be a bust.
Yeah, you know what?
Go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
Everybody's not Drew Brees, Tom Brady, or Phillip Rivers.
Sure.
Plain and simple. You said 37. For a quarterback, that is impressive.
Agreed.
Everybody's not Breeze. Everybody's not Brady and Rivers, where they trying to play well deep into their 40s. Yeah. Like not just at 40, deep into their 40s. Everybody isn't them. So to give what he gave within his career, again, considering that horrendous injury that almost cost him his leg.
Yeah.
Not just his career, his leg, speaks volumes.
Yeah. JT, what were we going to say?
Yeah, I always, for me, that number 1 pick kind of always hung over him because he is not the type of player who's going to lead the ESPN highlights the next week. He would always go in and get the job done. He was a fast and steady quarterback, a really, really, really good quarterback. He was just never great, in my opinion. And every time you'd watch him in a game, he would do just enough to get the win. He'd do just enough to get his team in the right position. But he's not one of these guys like Brady, Breeze, like you said earlier. He just didn't have that explosiveness with his feet or his arm to ever kind of like elevate him to like great status. So if you're a team that needs a steady quarterback, Alex Smith would be perfect. If you have a great defense and you just need, an offense that's not going to turn the ball over, who can, run the ball and, do some passes, he was your guy, but he wasn't going to elevate the offense to that next level. So to me, that number 1 pick always hung over his head for me because while he's really good, he never lived up to that number 1 spot, but he put up impressive numbers. He's a great game manager and he's a great player. If you have the right team around him, he could really get you some wins. And that's how I feel about his career overall, really.
Yeah, he started 167 games, and he went 99-67-1 in those contests to get that one tie. So you got to give him so much props for what he was able to do, and now he's out, and we wish him the best. I mean, there was, he seemed like he wanted to come back, but he said when he went on a snowboarding trip recently with his son and I think his father, he realized that these are the things that he would be missing out on, like he'd missed out on them in the previous, 17, 16 years he was playing in the NFL, and he didn't want to miss out on those moments anymore. So, you've done what you can do. You leave a legacy, you roll on, and just like Trevor Lawrence is talking about, you go and find something else to do with your life. Football isn't the end-all, be-all in your life. And so
I'm surprised he said he was on the mountain snow, and I was like, oh, he was with that powder and was like, I don't need football. But that's a whole other powder we're talking about.
Oh,
so
my God.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Whole nother subject. Sorry.
And also, I think a lot of people said, like, the last year he played, you kind of help but feel nervous for him every time he played. And when I'm reading the story, he's snowboarding. I felt nervous for him just snowboarding. I was like, I don't even know if this guy should be snowboarding. I hope, he's fully recovered. I hope he can enjoy retirement. But, I'm glad he's retiring without another injury. That's the biggest thing.
Right. Going out on his terms, which you couldn't say was possible 2 years ago when he first got that injury for sure. So,
barring being a kicker, man, I feel like I would totally be that person that was like, whatever the position is like, let me get like one Super Bowl, and then I'm out. And then like it could be let me hit this amount of money that I wanted to earn, and let me get one Super Bowl and I'm out. So like if they want to offer me, like $50 million on my rookie year, we win the fucking Super Bowl, I'll take that 50, that ring, and bounce and be like, cool, I did it. I played in the NFL and I won the ring and be out that bitch.
Of course.
Bye, bitches.
You got to take that one more contract after the Super Bowl, because then your price goes way up. So win that Super Bowl, sign somewhere for like a 2-year deal, get that extra money, then be out.
Did y'all hear what Winston did? Did y'all hear what Winston did on the field? What did he do? He ran butt naked saying, I quit.
Bitch, I got the bag and the ring.
The money is guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Bitch, I quit.
So we definitely wish him well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 130 y'all watching us live. Please hit that like button. Really appreciate that thumbs up button there. Give us some love on that side of the fence. And also send in some Streamlabs and Super Chats. Any questions you might have. We're a little light right now on the Streamlabs, so please send in some thoughts and some support for the show. Doug Developer says, hey guys, so I never understood why we praise MJ as being the ultimate competitor. As an athlete, aren't you supposed to be an ultimate competitor? It's like saying Rocha is a great film critic because he is super passionate about movies. Thoughts? I don't know how to take that. All right. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I got it.
Is Doug taking a swipe or not? I don't know.
Have you heard the stories? Like,
I mean, like, did you watch The Last Dance?
Yeah, really.
Not only that, I'm just saying that, like, the reason why he gets praised, the reason why Rocha gets praised, for example, in the Schmodown, is that, like, this is
ain't that many dinosaurs walking, and as a commission, I should
don't start that shit. I saw you in the shadows. Don't start that shit, boy. Don't start here, boy. I ain't gonna stop. Go ahead. You better calm your ass down, Mister. I don't need it anymore. Then come crawling back to get paid.
I didn't crawl.
Don't start here, son.
He didn't crawl. He didn't crawl. He didn't crawl.
I didn't crawl anything.
Yeah, you need that apartment money. Go ahead, Winston. What were you saying?
Anyways,
don't start.
Like, I mean, it's this idea of like, why do we praise him for being the ultimate competitor? We praise him because he literally went out of his way to win. Like, we literally, that is what it means to be the ultimate competitor. There's a reason why people are I get why people are flipping out about Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence didn't say, I'm not trying to ball and win. He just said, I have priorities outside of football. For Michael Jordan, ironically, his only main priorities were basketball, but that did not mean that his ass wouldn't make it a priority to figure out how your dice game works and fucking beat you with that. Or he wouldn't figure out how Pokemon cards go down and be like, all right, bitch, let me go ahead and buy these like first edition rares and stun on your ass. Like that was the thing, is that literally anything that he did, he had to win. And so that's why we praise him as the ultimate competitor, because he goes all out always.
Everyone has a certain base level of competition to achieve success.
Resident Chicagoan Bulls fans here.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. On this.
Go ahead.
Winston just said it best. Did you not see The Last Dance?
Right.
There are people who would have backed down from that challenge. The way Detroit was whooping. Right,
the security guard.
Security guard. There were people who would
not
have. There were people who would have never survived the beating that the Knicks and the Pistons year in and year out, multiple games put on Michael Jordan. Let alone scored and did what he did.
Not forget the flu game.
Bro,
the
blue game.
It was
forget
real.
the flu game. How about the rookie?
Poisoning.
How about the rookie that put up 25 points on the game, and they apparently had back-to-backs, and he was like, yo, good game, Mike. Like, you know, I'm just trying to keep up with you. And Mike said,
I took that personally.
And then he put up 40 on the kid. He was like, all I said was good game, Mike. Like, what the fuck?
That was
killed his entire career because he told Michael Jordan good game.
Bro, it'd be like if I told Jay Washington, like, hey, man, you're really trimming down, and I see those gains, and Jay's like, what did you say, bitch? And all of a sudden, he puts on 20 more pounds away, like, I'll crush you personally.
For me, it's like
happen.
He stepped up to the plate. You know, like the flu game where he's really food poisoning. I feel like Kyrie would have got out of bed. Kyrie would have called in and been like, my stomach hurts. I ain't coming to the game today.
That's what's sad, though. That's what's so sad.
MJ was like, I don't care if I'm, half dead. You put me in the game.
Yeah, but that's what's sad is I was talking to my buddy about it, who's probably the biggest Kobe fan I've ever met. Like that is the whole thing about Kyrie having Kobe as a mentor and like the way he looked at Kobe like that, because Kobe would be pretty disappointed in the fact that he's just kind of like doing whatever the way he's doing it. Now again, we've said it a million times. If all it would take is if the team was just like, look, Kyrie's going through something, we know what it is, it's a personal matter, let him handle. That'd be completely different, and we could let all this go. But the problem is they're not doing that. They're just like, Kyrie's not playing again. So it's kind of like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah, Douglas came back in the chat here, says, I just think if you're not an ultimate competitor, and get the fuck out of here. Well, that's not true, because not everyone is an ultimate competitor.
Look at the league!
But
Look
you
at
can,
the
I
league!
know, but you can also
business, man. They treat more as a business.
Can also be as ultimate competitive as you want. You just don't have that extra level of talent. Jordan had that extra level of talent that he could mine, and he could mentally, like the thing I watched Last Dance because, and I've done it 3 times now, back to front. It's so brilliant. The thing about him is he lived in the now, right? And that's the thing that is a lot of athletes, no matter how competitive they are, they have a really hard time living in the now. You're always worried about, well, am I going to fuck this up? Am I going to miss the shot? Are they going to throw the ball to me with 2 seconds left? Am I going to be able? Jordan was very much in the flow of life when he was at the top of his game. And so he never worried about that because he always said, like, why should I worry about shots I've never even taken yet? And it's just not a lot of competitors can do that. He just had that extra ability. And that's what separates the greats from the good.
Well, The Last Dance, he was already the best player in the league. And once they lost to the Pistons that second time, he said, I'm going to go and reshape my whole body to take all the punishment I could take from these Detroit Pistons. He's like, I'm not losing to him again. So, and he was already the best player in the league at that point.
Right,
so to me, that just goes, some players would just been like, I'm already the best player. We'll try again next year.
We're talking about a league right now. We got a deep, sorry about that, Josh. We got a league right now that we talk about defense is non-existent.
Yeah.
Right.
Non-existent. You got Michael Jordan, who was dominant on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's competitive. Of course, it's always competitive, but the greats, rise to the top. Alex Tornai says, as a fellow Liverpool supporter, Rocha, how are you feeling about the Super League that was announced yesterday? I think it's absolutely ridiculous and a total money grab by the owners. Sad day in sports. Alex, we'll address that a little bit later on in the show, but absolutely, I'm not as broken up as other people are about it. Money has always been about money in sports. It's always been about money, owners who can do it. It's always been that way. So it's not a shock as much to me as it seems to be to a lot of people. So many people upset about this. I will talk about it a little bit later when we get into it. All right, see if there's any more Streamlabs or super chats. Oh no, so I don't see anything. So let's move on to our next story here. Let's jump into this a couple of uncomfortable stories here. Aldon Smith, a warrant has been issued for him. He's a Seattle Seahawks defensive end now, having played his last few years for the Cowboys. For an alleged, this is an arrest warrant for an alleged second-degree battery that occurred in New Orleans on Saturday evening. Smith allegedly choked the victim unconscious during a confrontation they began inside a coffee house. Who gets angry inside of a coffee house?
That's what I'm saying. I read this. I was like, what club was he at? What bar was he at? It was in a coffee place. Like, what the hell happened there that you had to choke somebody out?
Have you never burned your mouth on some coffee that you thought was not that
you know that expression, don't talk to me before I had my morning coffee?
That's fair. I guess
I'm just imagining like you take it, you're like, my mouth, and then someone says to you like, hey man, you shouldn't drink it so fast. You just look at him. Get too close, man. How the fuck did you know I was gonna do that? That's terrifying.
Chappelle show. I spit hot fire.
But apparently he was captured on video, and he just signed a 1-year deal with the Seahawks just 2 days earlier on April 15th. After resurrecting his career with the Cowboys in 2020, and they can't find him, and his agent's not returning any of the calls. And look, this guy has had a shit ton of troubles off the field. This is yet another example of the NFL.
That nigga agent is like, I don't even.
Don't call me. I don't know where he's going to choke me out. But this is the thing. How many more times can we forgive this guy in the NFL? We keep bringing him back. It's frustrating.
He's also human. He's human. I mean, he's a human. He's a flawed human. At the end of the day, let's just be real. He's a
get him the help
human.
he needs and stop giving him.
NFL. We put players on the pedestals, we always say, and there are people who just have flaws. Aldon Smith is arguably the dumbest motherfucker to ever get a contract because he keeps staying in trouble and keep getting chances. It's like, nigga, you better find Jesus and go sit with a Bible or something. But like, that's what it is.
Let's lay it down. 2013, arrested on suspicion of DUI. 2014, suspended for 9 games by the NFL for violating the league's conduct and substance abuse penalty. 2015, Smith was released by the Niners the day after he was arrested on a hit-and-run, DUI, and vandalism charges. Then the Raiders took a chance on this guy, and 1 month later, he was suspended for a year for violating the league's substance abuse policy. And then he was released by the Raiders in 2018 after he was arrested on multiple charges, including domestic violence, assault, and false imprisonment. He pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges, and then he was reinstated. What the fuck? Last year, and started all 16 games for the Cowboys. I mean, you can't get away with this in a regular business. I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
I didn't expect
I go to Winston. You tell me.
How do you play?
Hold on. Let me think about this. I feel like Rocha would get away with all of this and maybe one more charge before the Fed Stock Exchange let him go. They'd be like,
what's the shit?
Bro, that's his base level to qualify for the
Wait, they'd be like, did he kill any? Look, you'd be Gucci. You'd be like, so did he kill anybody? No,
Gucci,
well, we still got him.
Kill anybody.
No, he didn't go. Oh, well, he's still good to go. I mean, what do you mean?
Gucci be like, how many charges? 5? Okay, we can let him in. 5 is the base amount.
What it would be is Gucci would be like, don't worry, I know how to beat all these charges, and those are facts.
I got a dossier on this.
Yeah, man. He is human. He's a troubled human being, but there should be a point at which you stop giving people passes. Like he has fucked up again and again and again and again and again and again, and not for like little things. Like I give a little bit more like pass to like Josh Gordon because it's like it's just weed.
He's
you know what I'm saying?
That's
a sad situation, but it's just weed. This is a situation where homie is like potentially harming people or actually harming people, choking people out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Wrecking cars. Like
false imprisonment. Who is you holding? Say you ain't going no motherfucking way. Like that is false.
5 years from now, Gordon probably would never get suspended. I don't think it'll even be an issue in a couple of years.
That's true. Yep. That's true.
Yeah, because wasn't Josh Gordon the whole thing weed? That's
just weed.
Yeah,
it's just weed.
Yeah.
It's just weed.
Yeah,
it's just weed over and over and over again. Every time he's gone to rehab and he's gotten better, but then he smokes weed again, and partially.
Because he goes to states that because weed is not a substance you abuse. Well, and what it is, it's only because the league is against it. He goes to numerous. Josh Gordon was going to places where he could just roll up and light. Like he would come to California, get high as shit, and be like, "Oh, fam, I got to be in training camp." Like and forget he got to drop. Like
considering how much pain these players are going through, and not always necessarily the Alex Smith leg breaks, but just the standard wear and tear of doing this.
Yeah.
If they want to smoke weed and the shit, the shit should be legal anyway. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But especially if this is fucking legal, just let them fucking do whatever. Like, if you want to make it like in the same way that if they came to a game drunk If you want to be like, yo, you came to a game high as balls and you want to hold them against it for that, that's one thing. But if they're smoking weed on their off time to deal with the pain you're putting them through for your billions, let them fucking smoke some weed.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Never forget, they suspended Richard Sherman for taking Adderall so the nigga could focus.
Yeah, fair point.
Literally. So not so he could have, not to have an advantage, so he could focus on the game. They were like, hey, bro, nah, you can't take them pills for that.
And Cheryl brings up a good point. How much jail time did he do for all that? Not much. And that's a great point, Cheryl. These are the things that need to change in our law system and in our country. All these things. You're going to mess around and act the fool. I get it. Well, we can rehab you. We can get you through, but you got to serve your time. I mean, like 5 of these incidents are just out of control, for God's sakes. And it's clearly nothing people have done to help him has been helping him if he's back in the same situation again. I think someone put it really well with this. I said 2 shots of espresso and extra whipped cream.
I mean, maybe somebody cut him in line. I don't know. That's all.
Hey, Rocha, bitch, where's my sprinkles? Where are my sprinkles?
You call that a leaf? You call that a leaf?
Where's another vein? It's another vein missing out this motherfucking leaf. If you don't redraw this bit,
like latte for Aldon Smith. Alan.
Who the fuck is Alan?
Who the fuck is Alan? I'm gonna choke this shit out.
Bitch, I said Aldon.
Yeah.
You racist motherfucker, sir. I'm black.
Oh my God.
Sir, I'm darker than you.
So dumb.
Alvin. Anyway, all right. Before we leave the NFL, let's get into another sticky issue here. Brett Favre, after he put his dick back in his pants, had some comments to talk about. About politics in the world of the NFL and other sports. He's very public in his support of Donald Trump during the 2020 presidential election, but he was on the Andrew Klavan show, and he thinks that politics are destroying sports. Here's his quote. I know when I turn on a game, I want to watch a game. I don't want to watch players play and teams win, lose, come from behind. I want to watch all the important parts of the game and not what's going on outside the game. And I think the general fan feels the same way. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I don't watch anymore. It's not about the game anymore. And I tend to agree. And he was talking about the idea of politics in sports and people kneeling, people holding, arms like the Texans and the Chiefs did during the anthem. So he said it's really a shame that it's come to this. Something has to unify us. And I felt like the flag standing patriotically because blacks and whites and Hispanics have fought for this country, died for this country. It's too bad. Jay, you had some strong feelings on this before we started the show. Please help us out.
You don't give a fuck about politics. Beside that, you don't give a fuck about politics if it's not if it's politics you side with. Because if everybody was around this motherfucker supporting that orange fuck mop and go make America great again, white power, you'd have been okay, old country ass hick. But the fact that people have said stop killing people, namely stop killing unarmed black people on camera, the police need to be reformed, and basically racism is bad. It's a political statement. When in the fuck has racism been a political statement saying hating black people, brown people, Asian people is a political fucking problem? If you say identity politics in this comment thread, either two or what in the stream, suck the back of my dick.
Woo! There it is. Strong statements there from Jay Washington.
Yeah, not even the front.
Not even the front part. I just wonder what the back part is. Look, I mean, that's a statement from somebody that's never had to worry about any of that shit.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that, like, you know what I would have maybe heard him out about if I had heard him make a comment about, like, it was absolutely ridiculous what happened to that young man who's serving our country and got harassed by those police. That was absolutely ridiculous. They need to be fired and held accountable. That young man needs to be put up on, like, can we get him to every single game? Can he just go to whatever game he wants from that, like, as an organization? Can we do that? Do some shit like that, Brett. Then I might take some of the shit you have to say seriously about, like, people fought, like, black, white, Hispanic, they all fought for this country. Yeah, and a black man who was currently fighting for this country got harassed by the cops.
Maced.
And crickets from your ass.
Yeah.
Crickets. So miss me with that shit.
And let me just say,
go ahead, JT. Go ahead, JT.
I'm like an hour, 2 hours from Green Bay. I'm in Milwaukee. Yeah. That's one of the most segregated cities in America. From being here in the past year, I've heard people say in casual conversation, like, they stay in their area, we stay in ours. So hearing this stuff from Brett Favre, knowing he's from around here, doesn't surprise me. That it's very backwards here. I feel like I'm back in 1995 at times.
Oh, 95? That's it?
Maybe earlier.
Let me tell you something.
It's pretty bad.
Wisconsin in itself is still very racist for a state that is A, former Native American land, B, it only loves the black people who play on its sports teams. If you are, don't be a black dude driving in Kenosha at night and out of the wrong neighborhood in Milwaukee. But Brett Favre is from Mississippi. So what do he's a Southern farm boy from Mississippi, and he back home living in Mississippi. So what do you expect?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, look, there's plenty of Southern people who are white who don't have these feelings. They understand. They have many friends who they understand but you can see that this is such the ugly part of being from there, right? Having that mentality. And you're right, JT, to bring up the fact that he went to Green Bay, which segregated in its own way, and maybe that fit right in for how he was living his life. But I think these comments are so irresponsible because you carry a weight, you carry a legacy, you carry a power. You've played with black men. Black men helped you win a Super Bowl. Black men helped you stay on the field and become a Hall of Famer. And after you threw your dick out and took pictures and sent it away, and the NFL let you off with a slap for $50,000, and people put you on non-union commercials because no brand wanted to come near you, we let you come back piece by piece, and this is how you use your platform. That's the fucking mistake. And I think that's what frustrates the shit out of me overall, because I love Brett Favre as a player. Hearing him say shit like this upsets the living shit out of me, because it just sends people who want to believe this way. Now they have a champion who's out there that they can stand behind, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and it frustrates the piss out of me. Just
I can tell you,
go do your hunting shows and just leave us alone, man.
There's people out here that hear him say that and they love hearing it. Unfortunately,
out here. I agree, but are we just gonna let Rocha get away with this? We're not gonna call it the fact that Rocha just and that's why your bitch ass was doing non-union commercials, because ain't nobody actually believing your ass.
First of all, it makes you realize, Wrangler non-union, nigga, damn.
Remember, it only plays at small times on old ESPN games. I'll do wear my Wranglers. You know what I'm saying? It comes in on those games. It doesn't really come on regular ass TV. So now Wranglers finna sell the hell out. They're like, you know what? Brett loves America. Buy them Wranglers, boy. All these Walmarts shit finna fly out the shelves, boy. You ain't gonna contain these Walmart employees. Oh, Rocha, you muted yourself.
There you go.
Why is that so funny to you, Jay?
Bargain bin at Walmart. It was driving me nuts, and now he feels he can say like it. So yeah, Reggie White helped him get a ring. Yeah, exactly, Chris Taylor. Fucking right. He's got to be a little more understanding and sympathetic. And this idea of I thought we'd all stand behind the flag. No, maybe you should take a listen, sit down and listen to people who are trying to tell you what that flag symbolizes to them for generations, for decades in this country, for centuries in this country, what they've endured. So, I don't know. I just feel like it's a dumb thing overall. So, all right. Anything else?
Someone just called me out of the chat. I love how Rocha just made an impassioned plea and case about this, and immediately Winston is ball busting.
That's how we talking about. You did. Winston was like, so we just not gonna talk about the fact.
Look, man, all I'm saying is that's why people watch this show. If you wanted to just watch the random talking heads be like, yeah, Brett Favre is and then move on, you go watch fucking Sports Center, you go watch Get Up or the First Take or whatever. This show, people love watching the show because Rocha can make a very valid point, and then I could call him a dinosaur. It's totally fine. That's how this works.
Indoraptor. There we go. I'm learning these dinosaurs because now the Jurassic Park's on the wheel. God damn it! All right, let's move on to the next thing. We got some injury news coming out of the NBA. We're not sure yet. I haven't seen an update yet on the news with Kevin Duran't, but he was ruled out of the rest of Sunday's afternoon game. He left a little bit early in the game after suffering a left thigh contusion against the Miami Heat. He slowly left the bench for the locker room, looked a little more serious after he collided with Trevor Ariza. He'd been playing well. It was his fifth game back with the Nets since returning from a hamstring injury earlier this month after missing 3 games in January because of COVID-19 exposure. He's missed 23 games overall this season already. And he's played well when he's been in the lineup, but here we go again with another injury, JT. I mean, again, the Nets, they keep saying this is a finals lock team.
Yeah.
But they all keep getting injury or distracted or don't show up for personal reasons. I don't know, man.
That's why. Go ahead, JT.
Some players are just not built the same. I don't know what to tell you. Like, some of these players just can't stay on the court. Again, it's not serious. Yeah. And I think the Nets are going to take caution. They're thinking about nothing but the playoffs. The only concern you could have is this team at its full strength not be able to work on our chemistry. Yeah. But they've also shown that they don't need the full team there to win a bunch of games. So it's not really, you're not really in a bad position at all if you're the Nets. It's really just a little bit of an unknown. There's just so much talent on that team. I mean, Aldridge retiring, we can talk about that a little bit. Which totally made sense. And they're not going to miss him, honestly. Right. Like, the team is already stacked. For me, it's just, will this team, are they going to be fully healthy throughout the playoffs?
Right.
And will their chemistry kind of go through some growing pains through the playoffs because the core five haven't really got to play together? But at the same time, I think one of these top big three could be hurt and they could still win any series.
Possibly, but Winston, we're seeing the proclivity and the frequency with which they're going out with injuries throughout the season. This, no matter what the chemistry issues might be or not be, you still got to worry that these players seem to be getting frequently injured, and the playoffs, are way rougher than the regular season. So this doesn't bode well for the Nets, does it?
I mean, I think we're starting to see why the Nets have decided they wanted to try and put the Monstars together, because they're more like the last stars, dude. Like they apparently, obviously, it's probably the most talented team in the NBA, but the saying goes, the best ability is availability. And I think the reason why they kept getting people is maybe they saw Kevin Durant come off of his rehab, and they were like he's Kevin Duran't again, but maybe we're worried that he gets hurt again. Like Kyrie is kind of fickle. Like he remember he was running his mouth last season, so they were like, all right, well, maybe we should have a backup plan in case he's not. Like, you brought in Aldridge,
Blake
obviously
Griffin.
Retired. You brought in Blake Griffin, and he's been injury prone. So I think what they did is they're like, look, we're gonna take all the broken toys collectively. We're gonna treat this like trying to deal, LeBron James is Sid from Toy Story, and we're all gonna come out here and scare the shit out of y'all. And provided that our, kind of mangled parts don't get tangled up and shit, we have a serious run of winning this. But I think that's it. I think you've just brought in a bunch of cats that are all injury prone but super talented, and you're running that.
I got a response to that. Kevin Duran't needs somebody. You know how we just talked about what Michael Jordan did after 2 seasons of being beat up by the Pistons, how he bulked up? Somebody really needs to tell Kevin Duran't to bulk up. I'm not joking. Kevin Duran't has put on 0 size since he came into the league. Yeah. He just got natural, that natural how you get a little bit thicker in size or whatever. Somebody needs to give Kevin Duran't a bunch of whey protein, hit his ass in 2 butt cheeks with some steroids. Look, man, because he is very fragile. He is fragile. You are a dominant player. There is no doubt. You are one of the best in the game. You are a Hall of Famer for sure. But he is fragile. He is Mr. Glass. Now, don't get me wrong. I saw the knee that he caught from Trevor Ariza in the thigh. It was incidental contact. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was incidental contact, but that can hurt. I get it. But again, the level at which we hear Kevin Duran't get hurt, y'all better tell that man to go ahead and eat some chicken. He black. Look at his hair. I'm sorry.
I can't even picture him jacked. I can't even picture him. Can you picture it, Jack Durant? I can't even picture it. It's like it doesn't compute.
It'll look like that kangaroos. Those kangaroos you see that lift weights. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How the hell do you have muscles like that, man?
I mean, some people like Porzingis, he was told to put on some weight and muscle, and he said it hurt his game. Like, he's like, I didn't like how it felt. He didn't like how he felt running down the field. Some players like to be at a certain weight and certain size. So for all we know, Durant likes a certain height and size. I don't know.
Not for him, it's size. He's Slim Shady, man. He's Slim Shady. He likes to shoot. He likes to stay thin. So we'll see. We'll see what the updates. There's supposed to be an MRI today, and I guess they'll announce the results in the next couple of days. Jamal Murray, he'll be out 3 weeks. Is that what you think?
I think so. I think he'll be out a couple of weeks and be back.
Wow.
Just after playoffs.
That's true. Which is around the corner. Kind of crazy to think about. Next month is the playoffs. Insane. Jamal Murray, he probably won't be in the playoffs here. He tore his ACL in his left knee, JT. He was playing so well for the Nuggets. No timetable has been set for his return. I can't imagine he'll come back this season. You don't tear your ACL and back in a month or two. That's going to be a while that he's out. And the Nuggets had just picked up Aaron Gordon, just picked up JaVale McGee, just making a run here to let people know that they are for real, and they made the adjustments to be taken seriously in the West. And now their star point guard goes out. He was averaging 21.2 points a game, 4.8 assists, shooting over 40% from three-point land. So it was just incredible to see him do his work last year. After he started a little bit slower, he was back on it this year. But this is kind of a shock. What do the Nuggets do here? I mean, Aaron Gordon was there to supplement. He wasn't there to star. So, I mean, he's not even a point guard. So what do you do here in this situation?
Immediately hurts their chances, obviously, to make a run in the playoffs. You lose your star player. I just hate to see it because as a basketball fan, you know, having all these superstars in the league, it's just you hate to see any one of the player of this caliber go down. Yeah. And is it just me, guys? I do not remember this many torn ACLs in like the 90s, even the early 2000s. I feel like the way the game has changed, the injuries have just have gone to another level. Like maybe it's the pace that the game is played at now, but JT, I don't know, man.
It's the milk. Remember, the milk had steroids. Like, no. But real talk, they've been talking about how little girls were having their first menstrual cycle super young. The little boys at like 8 were all of a sudden like 5'6". So the problem is these cats out here, all sorts of like muscles and abilities and shit like that, are playing at a faster speed that was played in the 90s and the 80s and all that, and like. The human body hasn't fully evolved yet to keep up with that, man. Like
feels like it, man.
Lord Jesus.
At grade school, Milk was out here making motherfuckers monsters. Like,
you heard about knee problems in the 90s and early 2000s. I just feel like I didn't know the word ACL until like 15 years ago. Like Derrick Rose and all these players started getting torn ACLs. Now I feel like not a week goes by where I hear about torn ACL.
What's his face? Penny Hardaway. That was my first experience.
That was like a rare thing. Like, it was rare back then. Now it happens literally several times a season, if not a month.
This is
it's weird.
And their backup point guards, Monte Morris, Marcus Howard, and Facundo Campazzo. These are not people.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Who's the last one?
Facundo Campazzo. He's 30 years old and making $3 million in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to him. But like, who do you have? Nobody that's going to come close to what Jamal Murray was doing on the court. So do they go and make another move here? Do they find someone out of the is it the G League? Do they find what do they do in this situation that could possibly replace Jamal Murray? I think they're one and out now. First round exit. I think it's a first round exit now without Jamal.
You can't replace him.
You can't replace Jamal Murray. Yeah, that's
right.
It's a wrap for that. Like you just gotta live with it now. You just know your ambitions is out and just start looking towards 2022. It sucks. You don't tank the rest of the season because you know you're not winning the chip. You play the season out, but at the same time, you just like let's look towards 2022 now.
Yeah, and if you're Andre Gordon, you're like, what the fuck am I, cooler? Like every place I go, I kind of mess up the situation. You wonder. Another team here that might be suffering the same situation if things don't turn around for this player, Donovan Mitchell. He had to be helped off the court during Friday's game between Utah and Indiana after suffering an ugly right ankle sprain. I don't know if you guys saw that, but if you've ever twisted your ankle on a basketball court, it will make you scream viscerally from remembering that pain. Yeah.
It was a couple days after the ACL tear, and I was like, are you kidding me? Two of the best young, stars that we have in the league right now are going to go back to back. Thankfully, it was just a sprain. Yes. I believe the MRI didn't show anything serious. If you're them, you just rest them until the playoffs. I wouldn't take any chances. They have a really good team, and he's, again, just like the last player, he's crucial. Yeah. You can't lose him, so just get him healthy.
Woj reported on Saturday that Mitchell is expected to miss several games with the injury, but an MRI revealed no structural damage. He was averaging 36.8 points a game over the last 5 games. So just killing it. But Jay, is LeBron and AD have been out. Are they doing some nefarious voodoo shit? Kind of fuck with the Nuggets and the Jazz who'd have been in their way to get to the finals here, man?
Hey man, all I know is the teams are now playing hard. Every other team in the West is playing harder to try to show, hey, we can be. Everybody keeps saying it's Lakers, Brooklyn, Lakers, Brooklyn, Lakers, Brooklyn. Because look, the Lakers are like, yo, as long as y'all get in the playoffs, that's all that matters. Because they literally gonna rest LeBron and AD until they absolutely them niggas. Hey, LeBron, gonna put on your new shoes. I know you got a press junket you gotta do. AD, gonna make sure you get your manicure on your eyebrow, all that stuff. But it's just all these teams are pushing so hard to prove they can be. Because again, every media outlet, every sports show, everybody is talking consistently that Lakers, Brooklyn. It's just Lakers, 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 Lakers. And Brooklyn now more so. Look, so don't skip on the 76ers. But anyway, everybody looking at the Lakers out the West, and people keep forgetting how close Denver was last year, how much of a threat Utah is. And so when you ball so hard, and again, you don't have the muscle mass behind it because, look, like you said, JT, some people want to stay smaller. I get it, but that's what they have personal trainers for, to help you be able to navigate bulking up while staying lean at the same time.
Yeah. Great point. We'll see what happens. Any thoughts on this, Winston? Okay.
Not really. I mean, you guys kind of covered everything. It's sad that the Nuggets are kind of a wrap. I'm less sad for the Nuggets. I'm more sad for Jamal Murray because, you know, they've gotten, obviously, because of all the injuries that magically sprouted because of our schoolyard milk, they've gotten better and better at repairing these. But it's still like a pretty gruesome, painful injury, and you know, he's out for a while. It sucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Game Time is brought to you by Schoolyard Milk.
Schoolyard Milk.
Do you remember the bubble playoffs? Like Denver and Utah had one of the best series because those two guys were going at each other. It was like mano a mano, and just sad. There's no chance we'll even get that this year.
That's absolutely agree with you. And this is a real quick story. We'll move on from this one. But Dwyane Wade has bought a stake in the Utah Jazz, ladies and gentlemen. One of the whitest teams in the NBA, a place that a lot of NBA players kind of quietly and not so quietly say have some of the most racist fans in the league. Now Dwyane Wade will be part owner in this. Do you think, because Dwyane has talked a lot about what he wants to do post his NBA career, how he wants to affect social change, how he wants to be a person who makes a difference to help people come together rather than split apart. Do you think this is him moving into this position so that he can kind of change one of the cultures in one of the areas and cities that has been notoriously racist against black players?
Not since Shaq bought into Papa John's has I've seen such a great move of trying to bring together, a city and a franchise. I just commend him for it. Thank you. Give it up to Shaq and Wade. David Wade.
How hard that was for me. That was very hard.
No, it's smart though.
Smart.
You're trying. I've been to Salt Lake City numerous times. I mean, the fan base I have, and now that Winston has by proxy, which is just you're welcome.
Oh my God.
But no, it's just that the fan base, and then there is a black community in Salt Lake City that you don't hear much about. But again, it's Utah. It's Utah. And so to have an NBA Hall of Famer have stake in his team who's going to make sure the face with this team is, and what you see more of is more social justice, which they already are trying to do heavily in Salt Lake City, quiet as kept. But you're going to see a lot more of it. And it's a great thing. Again, he could have possibly put stake into any other team.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes he went to Utah.
Yeah, it's a great point. 39 years old, Wade. That's it. He's now taken ownership here, and he met with with a number of the owners ahead of time. Also, he spoke in his statement about Shaq, Grant Hill, and Michael Jordan. He said, "This goes way beyond the dream I had to just play basketball in the NBA. I've seen Shaq do it in Sacramento because Shaq owns a percentage of Sacramento." He said, "I've seen Grant Hill do it in Atlanta. Grant Hill, an owner with the Atlanta Hawks, and Jordan do it in Charlotte. If this partnership is going to be anything like my relationship with Ryan, there are going to be a lot of things that I'll want to be involved in." I think that's key there in what he's talking about. And he says, "Unfortunately, people in my community don't get this opportunity. And I do not take it lightly to have this opportunity to make real change. This is where you have to be at the top." And Ryan knows that. I'm thankful for him. And I know that I bring a lot to this partnership outside of just my basketball knowledge and my skills. And Ryan, he's referring to, is the majority team owner of the Jazz, Ryan Smith, and the team governor as well. So, Winston, any thoughts on this?
I mean, my big thing is, and this is, I don't think you could have found a better person to take that on, in the sense that look at how Dwyane Wade handled everything with thank you, with people criticizing his family. I don't want to mess up any pronouns or anything. I don't remember. It was
Zaya, his daughter.
Zaya's daughter. Okay. So I want to make sure I get that right. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, someone that is already handling that in this situation, I feel like is best to come in and kind of help with this situation in Utah. Slash, you also have Gabriel. Yes.
Addendum. They have one of the biggest. Salt Lake City has one of the biggest pride parades every year.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's huge. That's
Salt
huge.
Lake. Out of all the people, out of all the places you expect to hear it, Salt Lake City.
That's crazy.
So I just wanted to add that on, because when you brought up his daughter, that was it.
No, of course. And the other part is that now, I mean, you know, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. A partial owner of the Utah Jazz is also Gabrielle Union. You don't think she's gonna call out some crackers at these games if they try and step to Dwyane or her? Like, she will tear a motherfucker down. So I think that you couldn't have asked for a better family to take that on top of the fact that there is something to be said. How few black owners are there in the NBA, let alone people. Like, I remember one day I told my dad, I was a kid, I was like, Dad, like, his phrasing could have been better. But I was like, Dad, like, I want to be Michael Jordan when I grow up. And he goes, how many people play in the NBA? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, there's 30 teams. There's 15 people each. Let's just call it like an even like 400, right?
Yeah.
Right. 400 people. How many people live in the United States? I don't know. I'm 8. Well, son, it's almost about 300 million people. So let me tell you something. You're not making the NBA. So no, you can't be Michael Jordan, own Michael Jordan. I was like, I thought slavery was dead, sir. What are we talking about? But just the idea of that is the actual American dream. I know everybody wants to be the superstar. Everybody wants to be LeBron James, Michael Jordan. But the actual dream is to be able to bring actual equity and wealth to your family, to your people, et cetera, and owning a professional team is part of that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Ryan Smith, the gentleman he was giving so much credit to, is a huge into social issues and making the change. He's been doing that for quite some time here and so when he took over, he extended that through the Jazz, and so bringing Wade in was an essential part of this now as he keeps moving forward with this approach to things. Wade said, we're not running away from the racial and social and the LGBTQ conversations. I'm committed to doing the work. I talk about the LGBTQ community, which everyone knows is important to me. My daughter is part of the community, as Jay was mentioning here as well. And he looks at the Jazz as a very strong relationship to had that's multifaceted. Business, basketball, and me being able to bring Ryan into my world just as bringing me into his world. And Mickey Aronson from the Heat expressed disappointment on Twitter because apparently there had been negotiations between him and Wade for him to take a stake of the Heat before the Jazz. So clearly there was some attempt for Wade to possibly take a percentage of the Heat, but Mickey Aronson, quite well known to want to control everything. So I bet Wade also was like, I can't do shit here. Yeah.
If Dwyane Wade wants to make actual changes and social change, Miami is Miami. You don't need the Miami. I mean, it's going to make the work outside of within Florida within itself. But Miami is Miami. It's okay. When it comes to Salt Lake City, that's an entire. Like I said, the biggest pride. I didn't know that until I went to the Comic-Con. Their inclusion, their diversity, they're trying to grow that. But again, it's Utah, and we've heard about the incidents of Russell Westbrook being racially harassed on the court during the game, and then the owner having to come mid-court in the beginning of the game and said, "If you do anything racial, we will ban you." Do you understand how crazy it is when a team owner has to say this during an actual game?
Yeah. I know. You're right. You're absolutely right, for sure. And that's the thing that's crazy when you think about all of this, is like you have to have the owner step forward to do this kind of thing to make people listen. All right, let's move back to the NFL. Oh, well, actually, let's get into some Streamlabs here. Sorry about that, y'all. I know you sent some in. So let's hit it. Gramash sent in the stream super chat here. He said, will players who dream of the World Cup try to migrate from those clubs? World Cup with no stars? # nobody asked players. Jay, Bianca, and Cesaro won. Thoughts, Jay? Well, we'll get Super League after we talk about these in a little bit. Jay, Bianca and Cesaro won. Any feelings on that? Bianca Belair winning the title, Cesaro beating Seth Rollins.
I was happy for Bianca. I actually cried like when Kofi won a WWE title. Now, here's the thing, and I'll say this real quick. I know a lot of people say, well, wrestling is pre-scripted and it's predetermined and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you this. There is a thing called a run sheet, just like we all see. It's put up backstage several places so every wrestler can know where they are on the card, right? Mm-hmm. Your name can be circled as if you're going over on that match. That does not mean anything until the 1, 2, 3 actually happens in the ring. I have been a part of and have seen many finishes and change in the match. For this woman to be 30 years old, just turned 30, they do a whole documentary, a chronicle on her life to win this title at her time. And then for Sasha Banks, who has solidified her Hall of Fame career, because you know what? She don't have to win at WrestleMania. She's made stars. She's proven she can make stars. For that to happen was amazing. And again, it was an emotional thing to see because, again, you watch 2 black women main event WrestleMania for the first time ever. 2 black people main event WrestleMania for the first time ever. And Cesaro, he's been due his respect. It's just the whole... It's just some people won't get past it. Just he doesn't have a full character. He's a pure wrestler. Let it be.
Yeah. Exactly. Agree with you. Just as happy. Bianca, Sasha tore the house down. What a great match to end night 1 for sure. And we'll talk about, as I said, the Super League in just a second. Let's talk about more of these Streamlabs here. Roberto Arsenal said the Euro Super League sucks. Yes, UEFA is corrupt, but you're fighting corruption with even more corruption. Please don't Americanize soccer in Europe. On an NFL note, the 49ers would be dumb to take Mac Jones. He's another Trubisky. Ooh, strong statement there from the...
A lot of people well, it's only because of his pro day. Like, it's crazy. His pro day today, where you're supposed to show up and show out. Everybody was like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, I was reading The Ringer. I want to bring it up. I was reading The Ringer over the weekend, and they were profiling how Landry Fields has kind of fallen down the chain here. And they're like, why is this happening? Is it because he's black? Is this there?
Hopefully right into the Patriots New England pick. That's what I want to fall down to. Keep falling, baby. Come down New England.
I mean,
that's fair.
It could be that because he's black. Because again, let him fall, and let Belichick be like, "Excuse me, he's available. Come here. Don't you want to come on home?
Cam Newton for a year. Come on.
Learn about the Cam for this next year. Sit up under Cam, watch these, learn the schemes, everything. Because Cam's gonna be gone after this year. Then it's you. As long as you can do this, it's you.
Come on, baby. Can't wait till draft day.
Yeah, it's coming soon. Buckeye Jet says, hey guys, if I may ask an NFL history question, Lawrence Taylor is considered the GOAT defensive player. I never saw him play, but what do you think made him so great? And on a 1 to 10 scale, if LT is a 10, where's Aaron Donald? Thanks a bunch. I saw.
Oh no!
This nigga came back unmuted just to say the words in jail. Didn't say nothing else but in jail. This is the most petty black person ever to just come back to make sure not even to click the camera first, to click the microphone unmute
before somebody said something. Yeah, no, I had to get it in.
Oh man, I wish I could. Who's the player from Chicago? Bill Belichick was asked at a press conference.
Urlacher?
No, it wasn't Urlacher. Was it Mac?
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack. They said they asked. Look this up on YouTube. It's hilarious. They asked him, "Is he as good as Lawrence Taylor?" And the look Bill Belichick gave the reporter said, and he just said, "Nobody's Lawrence Taylor." Let's not. He was like, "Pump the brakes. Let's not compare anybody to Lawrence Taylor."
I think Aaron Donald was a beast. We just look at Aaron Donald as a big dude, but Lawrence Taylor was something special.
Lawrence had the power and speed and explosiveness off the line, and he could read every offense. I think he was the tall package.
I gotta ask because I didn't watch enough Lawrence Taylor games just when they were in their prime. Is Deion not in that conversation with them? I know that they're
totally
obviously
different.
Deion couldn't tackle
away.
Yeah,
that little coward didn't learn to tackle till the end of his career.
First of all, watch your mouth.
He stole money from us.
Yeah,
he came and played for Washington for a year, took $8 million. Was like, bye, bitches.
Yeah, Taylor kind of
y'all were sorry.
Will. Yeah, Taylor imposed his will. When Taylor was on the field, the game changed. It's hard to explain, honestly.
I grew up in the NFC East when Lawrence Taylor was a beast. Like I was watching the Skins. And Lawrence Taylor was a man I feared the most. He broke my quarterback's leg so that the bone was protruding through the uniform. It was insane. He was such a feared, like what you see in Forrest Whitaker and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was Lawrence Taylor on every play, man. Every play, he thought somebody destroyed his car on the other side of the team. So it just was insane to watch him play. And defense or offenses had to scheme around Lawrence Taylor. Not really. And then the other Giants took advantage of that. Pepper Johnson, all those guys, they became names of what Lawrence could do. He was a linebacker. That's why I don't compare him to Aaron Donald. A defensive end is something completely different. He has to be Lawrence Taylor. Linebacker at times has to be the general on the field for the defense. And Lawrence was great at that. You're never going to see someone as intense, as physically gifted, as good, intelligent, and just an all-around phenomenal player like Lawrence Taylor, maybe ever again.
Not to read where the ball was going everywhere.
Yeah. Not to compare him to like Dante Hightower, because Dante Hightower is a great player, but he's not Lawrence Taylor. But
no, he isn't.
When Dante's on the field, he's like a floor general. He puts everybody where they need to be, and he's able to read the offense and get his team in the best position possible. And that's what Lawrence Taylor did, and he backed it up with amazing speed and power. So, and
he did it for numerous years. Where we have in the NFL, like linebackers pop up that are great for 2 or 3 years. He did it for 10 to 15 years, consistently great.
And we forgetting the most important thing. He cut Jamie Foxx's Hummer in half in any given Sunday.
Yep.
Well, no, there's one more important thing. As Ryan Christmas, he beat Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania. He is the true GOAT.
That was the worst. That would become as standards. LT is the worst celebrity appearance as of right now at WrestleMania in the ring.
I don't disagree with you.
It's not Logan Paul.
Logan Paul didn't do a match. He didn't have a match.
Yeah, he didn't. He just got
LT
stunned.
had a match, and everybody was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I think Snooki had a pay-per-view match, but I don't think it was.
She didn't have her. She was in a tag, but they didn't really do nothing. As opposed to Bad Bunny, who came out there and whooped ass.
He whooped ass. You can't lie. And Aaron Donald is still too young in his career. He hasn't finished his career yet, but he's certainly a beast. And you certainly can have conversations about Aaron Donald being one of the best defensive ends ever. Just not in the conversation with Lawrence Taylor. He ended Montana's career. Oh no, that was Lawrence Marshall who ended Montana's career. Look it up. It was not Lawrence Taylor. It was Marshall.
The water boy
hit him from behind. Yeah, oh my God, he's hit him from behind and destroyed him. JT, I'm going with you on this next story here. Brad Stevens was apparently offered and turned down a 7-year, $70 million to coach Indiana University. Motherfucker, how are you offering a college basketball coach in the pandemic $70 million to coach kids? He turned it down. Stayed with Boston. But I think this means, as we've been saying on the show here, all of us, like, there's starting to be cracks in this idea that Brad Stevens is the boy wonder in the NBA. We're seeing these Celtics fall short before the finals every time. The college, it seems to be, they wouldn't have made the offer if there wasn't a possibility of him even considering it. What's your feeling on this?
Well, I remember, I think I texted you, there was all these rumors a couple weeks ago, like he was going to leave that day. And there's like a team meeting. I was like, is this dude about to leave? And I'll be honest, he was kind of seen as the golden child. He came in, everyone's like,
I thought he left.
No, he didn't leave. But
I was under the impression he had left. That's why I was
no. There were rumors on that day that he was going to be leaving by the end of the day.
Yeah,
they were. And I was texting Rocha, like, looks like this dude's going to leave. And I'm still glad he's there, because I think he's still young in his again, he's a young guy. He hasn't been coaching for as long as some of veterans like Doc Rivers and, Van Gundy and all these other guys. So for me, are there some growing pains? Yes. The bench is the biggest problem with the Celtics right now. We have no depth. But, he's not the GM. He can only work with what they're given. And, I'm in the boat where I think Kemba Walker's got to go. I think he shows up here and there, but I think there's a better player that could kind of run that team. So I'm happy keeping Brad Stevens. I don't watch college that much until the March Madness, so it doesn't really matter to me, but sorry, Indiana. He's ours for now.
But Jay, or Winston, I go to you on this actually. Mike Woodson.
Winston's gone.
Oh, he is? Okay, sorry. I was looking at my notes here. Jay, Mike Woodson signed to be the new coach there in Indiana. If you're Mike Woodson and you hear this story, are you a little pissed? Like, what?
Well, how much did he get signed for?
I wasn't $70 million. I tell you that.
That's what I was just going to say. Whatever my contract, I'm like, excuse me. Excuse me. You just offered him 7 years, 70 million. If you don't give me at least 40, 50, we have a problem. I understand because you're thinking you're going because Brad Stevens is an NBA coach. He's an active NBA coach. You were potentially going to snatch up an active coach in the middle of a season with a team that people are saying is pretty good, but then all of us keep looking like, are they really? And so you were going to snatch him. But if you went to you like, man, if you don't give me this goddamn money, I was going to give him.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see how much they're paying him. I'm looking on a number of these stories, news stories about it, and it doesn't say how much Mike Woodson is getting paid to be the coach of Indiana, and that is that's telling. To be honest with you, that's if you guys can find it, if you all can find it on the internet, put it in the chat. I'll put it up here for God's sake.
I'm sure whatever it is, it's plenty.
Yeah, but,
it's not like he's giving me peanuts.
But it ain't 70. And when you look at this story.
No.
He would have been the highest. Go ahead.
He was highly coveted, though, by Indiana, Brad.
I'm sure.
So for them, I think it was more of a personal thing than I think they threw more money than
somebody said in the chat. 18 million. Y'all on bullshit.
18 million.
No, y'all still on bullshit.
But over how many years? That's not.
That's how many years is the question.
That's the question.
7 years, 70 million is 10 million a year. Now. If you telling me he got some long shit like 6 years, 18 million, which is only 3 million a year, granted, I would like to have 3 million at one time in general. Don't get me wrong. But you need to come with this same. Somebody said like 5 mil per year, but again, how many years? Again,
18 million, 3 years, maybe. Who knows?
He's a level 2 is a Manchester United fan. He can't do math. He's dumb. Go ahead, keep going.
Jesus. It's just I feel like I know you're not going to give him the same value because again, he's not. He's not an active NBA head coach. I get that. But you got to make it look like, yo, you value me because if you're just going to give me a little bit of money, it's like, damn, this is the only choice we have. That's what it feels like to the outsider perceiving this.
Right. And already it puts Woodson in a bad position to the story leaks because already it's like, well, you weren't our first choice. You were our second choice. Yeah. And how much are the players going to really respect this guy?
I don't know because everybody knows Indiana was going after Bradley for a while. True. So to me, I don't think it hurts his feelings as much as, to take an NBA coach to leave the NBA, you're going to have to pump that money up. This guy. Yeah. So it's a little different.
Yeah. Well, he was good. If he had taken the contract, he would have been the highest paid college basketball coach at $10 million a year without having coached one game for Indiana. Calipari is the highest right now at $8 million a year for Kentucky. Krzyzewski and Jay Wright of Villanova only in comparison make $5 million a year. So pretty crazy. And that's they're making $5 million a year. I thought Krzyzewski made more than that, but that's all he's making at Duke. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So there you go. All right, let's see here. That's pretty much it on that story. So let's move on to another story here or see if it got any.
First of all, Brett, Celtics are on a 6-game winning streak. Let's not forget to say that. They won 6 games and they came back against Golden State the other night.
Okay.
So it's an amazing game.
It's 6 years, 18 million, 3 million a year.
Yep. Still not 5 million though. Level 2, is it? All right. Just want to make sure you understand your math problems. All right. Let's move on. Hill Nellum sent in the Streamlab here. He said LT freelanced a lot from the general defensive schemes. Seeing him every week was pretty amazing. He was the reason I became a Giants fan as a kid. Oh, shout out. I can totally understand that. If I had someone like him on my team, I mean, Wilbur Marshall, when he came over from the Bears, was the closest we came to having a linebacker of that kind of status on the Skins ever. And I loved Wilbur Marshall. We won a Super Bowl with Wilbur Marshall as well. I remember he had a great interception against the Cardinals.
I got to say, Patriots have always had pretty good linebackers. Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy, like they put a lot of stock into the linebackers.
Yeah.
Because they can move them around. They're versatile.
Yeah.
Man, everything broken in this damn apartment. What did I miss?
What happened? Yeah,
my internet.
What did we miss?
The Spectrum being Spectrum. That's all you missed.
Oh, Spectrum doing a thing. We're just talking about Brad Stevens being offered 7 years, $70 million and turning it down to be the coach of Indiana, and how Woodson only took the job for $18 million. So it looks bad on Mike Woodson overall.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like Steven, I think that's one of those situations where it's like you've kind of made your money at that point. Yeah. And he's like, I'd rather play for an NBA title than go play college.
And I think he wants to reach the level of success that he's been. I'm sure he had a goal of getting to a championship game at least. Yeah, I don't think he's going to leave until he gets closer. Yeah, listen, you've got Jason Tatum who's balling out of his mind right now.
Dude, you're not 44 points the other night.
Yeah, and you got. There's those two guys with him and Jason. You just can't leave.
All right, let's see if I got anything else here. No, okay, let's move on to the Super League story. Everyone's been talking about it here in the chat, and they've sent in some Streamlabs and soup chats about it. So this was a massive, massive announcement. Winston, I know you're an Arsenal fan. I'm not sure the level of understanding that Jay or JT have about world football, but we'll talk about it and get into it a little bit. This was announced this morning that 12 top European soccer clubs have agreed to establish a, quote, Super League, which will be a new elite competition that could blow up the professional structure of the world's most popular sports. 12 clubs have signed on. Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham from England. Tottenham, give me a break. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid from Spain, Juventus, Inter Milan, and AC Milan from Italy. And there's rumors about other clubs possibly joining: Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, PSG. Those are French and German clubs. Even though Dortmund has publicly opposed it, 5 other clubs would then join those 15 founders on a rotating annual basis to form a 20-team league each season. The 15 founders would be immune to relegation in world football. And you can go down, 3 teams go down, 2 teams go down, 3 teams come up, 2 teams come up. So that's what they have in world football. But the 15 founders would never be in danger of that, no matter how bad they played, which is a really strange thing to throw in there. The league would probably start in 2022, but already this has been met with some kind of incredible anger from the fans, from UEFA. There's rumors now that the Champions League, which has 3 of these teams in their semifinals, are possibly going to kick those 3 teams out of the current competition now so that they can't go and win the Champions League. That's how angry they are.
So, John, yeah. Can you break this down, like maybe for me and Jay in wrestling terms?
All right.
Is this like WCW buying off all the WWF fighters?
Is this WWE? Is this like WWE being the company grabbing ECW and WCW at the same time?
I would say it's more like if Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, they all were like, yo, fuck this. We gonna go start our own wrestling shit. We got all the talent, so we gonna fucking do it. And they're like, basically, bitch, what? I already pay $20 a month for all my WWE shit. I fucking follow WWE. It's all the stars here. What are you doing? They're like,
the record. I'm glad you just didn't say AEW, because I was like, that's not a Champions League. Just one second for the record. Look, I got respect for the guys and girls, but man, okay. But no, I think that's crazy because so do they either, with them being in the Champions League, because I know a lot of these clubs play in different leagues.
Yes.
Would they play in the other league? I mean, besides
they would play in their home league, yes, but the other leagues, and Winston might know this as well, they are going to ban them from domestic competition, so they can't play in the. Let's say you're going to play in England, right? That you can't play in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, or any of those cups.
Oh, damn.
Anything like you just would play your domestic season to try to win the league. That's all you'd be allowed to play. And UEFA now is stepping forward and saying they want to ban players who take part in this league from playing for their national teams in the World Cup. That's how angry they are.
No Olympics, all that kind of stuff. Right. The only thing I'm a little confused about, though, and maybe you can explain this better, Rocha. I'm curious why this is a problem if they're still playing in these other leagues. That's what I would like to know, because I don't know if I get it.
Which side is the problem that you're trying to figure out?
Why everybody is so mad that they're starting this other league? If it's not going to impede them playing in the leagues they already play in, I'm curious why people are so upset. Like, if it was like, go ahead.
No, good.
I was just going to say, like, if it's a situation where it's like, all right, well, Premier League is from August to January, but I got Super League shit, so, and like if Super League was just like June to August, and it wasn't in the middle of when Premier League is. That's why I'm curious why this would potentially affect it.
No, it would be in the middle of the Premier League, and it would play like the Champions League plays now. In the middle of the week would be the games. So in addition to in the league that you're already in, you'd essentially be playing in another league as well in the middle of the week. Instead of the Champions League, where it's a knockout competition, this would essentially be another season. You'd be playing in the middle of the season.
So it's wearing players out then.
Yes, absolutely. That as well. But also the big reason they're angry is it's money that's being taken out of the league. Because at this point, just like in most professional leagues around the world, you have a pot that everybody kind of shares and gets a percentage from if they're part of the upper leagues or the every tier has a certain amount that every team is going to get. You start to remove that team from being able to win competitions in other leagues, then that money is no longer going into the overall domestic league. And that will affect all the other clubs that play and players they can afford, whether they can stay financially solvent. All that starts to kind of weed into this, and it radiates. A lot of people say it radiates of selfishness or whatever, but by the same token, if you're consistently good and you've got these great owners and you're able to be in consideration for all these awards, at some point you don't want to share your money with fucking Leeds United or whatever, Coventry City, and you're like, I'm making all this money so you can stay alive. So it was what the Yankees were bitching about years ago with the Major League Baseball when they wanted to share profits. Every big team does not like sharing their profits with smaller teams, even though in essence they're keeping the league alive that helps them become a super team. So it's an interesting situation.
This is so confusing.
It makes sense. Essentially, what they're saying is that this becomes a new Champions League, which is already bringing the best of the best from the various leagues to come together and play. You're essentially making another one now, but it's run specifically by these 12 teams owners that are like, we don't fuck your bullshit. And so you would, in turn, based off of what I'm getting from what Rocha's saying, what people are saying in the chat, the Champions League would become defunct. Like it would literally dissolve because of this.
It's basically what Kyrie tried doing in the bubble. Said, let's all the best players go create our own league.
You're not wrong. That's essentially the same thing.
That's
Kyrie
what it sounds like.
pitching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000%. Kyrie's like, why do I have to look at this guy? I don't want to help this guy make money way down on the who's fourth string. But that's the kind of thing here. And I see a lot of people complain, oh, it's the Americanization. Do your history. The Champions League was built on the back of the destruction of the UEFA Super Cup, which became the Europa League, which is essentially the NIT in comparison to the NCAA. So the Champions League was built from greed as well. And when it was English owners or French owners or Italian owners, y'all weren't bitching that it was the Americanization. This has been happening in Europe for decades, for centuries with football. The best teams just want to play the best teams. They don't want to go play on a fucking sandy pitch against a shit team because they got lucky enough to qualify for their domestic league. And I get it. Look, I understand both sides of it. But in the end, this is the natural progression, the natural order of things,
Quick question. Is Ice Cube's Big Three basketball, is that still kicking?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It's definitely
been doing well.
It's doing well. I wasn't sure if they went shut down during COVID.
No, he's gonna have a second season, right? In the second season.
Oh, man.
It's like the fourth season.
Well, fourth season, second season I know of. I'm sorry.
I feel like I used to see it on TV all the time, and I haven't seen it lately. What's on
CBS? Yeah, my girlfriend's aunt is one of the main creators of the league.
Awesome.
She got us in last year or a year ago for the final to see the game. So she's I'm gonna drop that.
Jay, don't act like you don't name drop every time I see you. Stop this,
please. I know Jay loves to.
First of all, I don't do those things.
What? I've seen you drop names like crazy. Like you're a bomber. You drop so many names.
Well, one of my best friends in college, his aunt dated Ned Beatty in the 70s. So
there you go.
Mic
drop. Before or after Deliverance? Before.
I think it was before.
Every other sentence out of Jay's mouth, it's like so-and-so. Oh yeah, so-and-so. He the homie from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like I know him. Like I'll call him real quick. Hold on. And then
hold on. I would like to say for the record, when I make those statements, I do know these people. So
I'm not saying you don't. That doesn't mean you're not name dropping.
I mean, first of all, kind of Pearson, where you kiss my whole black ass.
Oh, whoa.
Hey man, I know this dude that was on Superstore, and I do podcasts with him. Come on, man.
Alex,
I'm feeling pretty good.
Alex Marzonia dropped the name this morning. STN Live. One of the actresses, from Kung Fu. She's like, I sat next to her in math class, and I had to think for her back then.
Well, wait a minute. I did go to high school with Aaron Hernandez, but
don't brag about that.
So was he trying to holler at you on the low, or was
glad you lived?
Here's the funny thing: his brother, who was actually a bigger deal in high school than him, I knew much better because he was in my grade. Aaron was like a grade or two below me, and it's crazy. Everyone thought his brother was going to be the big dude coming out of there, and then it turned out to be Aaron.
I mean, we all got those connections, man. It is what it is. Like what high school? I was really good friends with Troy Aikman's stepdaughter. So that was chill. Nice. And like growing up in like middle school and shit, I knew that the Acho brothers went to the private school that I went to there. So like I know Sam and Emmanuel. I knew the Perot kids because they went to that school. So like we all got some random shit that we can claim. I just don't do it every show.
That's why we all hang out with each other.
Hold on,
yes,
bitch.
Yes,
hold on,
it is.
I don't like how you said that. No, we're not gonna go past the fact. Which was like,
okay,
I just don't do it every show. You motherfucker. Let me just tell you something. Because first of all, this is why Blurs in the Hood is somewhat successful, only because of me. Now, because this motherfucker. Nobody wants to see the bottom of your face.
I like this. My grandmother's neighbor's cousin's brother, Jay Washington, all the
time. When Jay Washington does that, he brings guests on the show. That they come on the show and they be people you be like, oh, he do know these motherfuckers. Yes, he is actual friends with them. And then Winston like, it's every show. God damn it. Next thing when I bring the name up, I manifest him on the show. You know what? I ain't got to take this shit today.
Oh, there it is. I knew it was coming eventually. Tim says, now this is really an example of American imperialism's greed spreading into European football since American owners buying some of these clubs, in my opinion. But Tim, they don't do that in American league. So why do you think it's American imperialism? I need to have this explained because an American doesn't own Barcelona, an American doesn't own Real Madrid, an American doesn't own Bayern Munich. And, yes, you've got the Glazers with Manchester United, you've got FSG with Liverpool, but Manchester City is not owned by an American, and neither is Tottenham. So you've got to do your research here. It isn't all American owners of these soccer leagues.
I get what he's saying. It's the influence. It's the people over in Europe seeing how over here the Bezoses of the world and everything else are squeezing every penny out of everybody. So if the whole point of this league is the fact that these rich teams are like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I'm not paying for you little cheap ass motherfuckers. I see what he's saying. It's not necessarily that all the American owners came in and said, all right, there's a new sheriff in town. This is how we're doing this. It's just they probably looked and they're like, wow, the owner of the Yankees making a lot of money. Why don't we do that? How do we do that? You know what I'm saying? Like they literally, I think that's kind of what he's getting at. And I can see that for sure.
Yeah. And look, and I get it. As I said, I totally get the other side of it, that money's going to be taken out of these domestic leagues in whatever country you're in. And it could affect the overall quality of the play because what players you can and can't afford. I get that. But this is the natural order and progression of things, that the haves will constantly try to have more of the haves, and the have-nots will have to struggle and fight to be considered one of the haves so they can get a piece of that pie as well. So, in the end, who knows how it's going to go down, because I think there's way too many forces aligned against this thing for it to pop off in 2022. But it's certainly causing a lot of bad publicity and press for these clubs, and pressure on these managers to have to answer these questions constantly in press conferences. Jurgen Klopp having to do it today after their draw with Leeds. It was so frustrating to watch him have to deal with that. So we shall see. All right. And I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any more, send in a Streamlab and Super Chat over the next 20 minutes, and I will address. Oh, and one more thing. JP Morgan is the one who's financing this. They are the American. I guess that's where Tim Sim might be getting this argument, because it's JP Morgan, but they're a global bank. Yes, they're American investment bank, but they're a global bank, and they're helping to fund the league. And that's
what an investment bank does, makes investments.
Exactly. And they're giving each team $3.6 billion to be a part
That's what an investment bank does. Makes investments. I mean, let's just be real. European football is a very big business.
Yes, very lucrative. Yes,
very lucrative. Why would you, if you are an investment bank, why would you not invest? Like, this is like putting money in Dodge, in the shit that's jumping up in my Robinhood app right now. Right, it's like putting money into that. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is.
You just dropped that.
Matter of fact, let me check my Robin.
You know what? You just dropped that real quick. So anyway, all right. So we'll see what happens.
Just go ahead and check on my investments. It's
gonna be a real quick check, I imagine, with Jay.
Hey, anyway, you shut your mouth, bitch. I'm up, ho. I'm up like a
both of us. Both of us up.
I thought Bitcoin crashed over the weekend.
It's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin.
All right.
It's the Dogecoin, the one with the little dog everybody keep talking about.
I need the NFT stuff. That's what I.
That shit is about to shoot up because they say if it hit $1, once it hit $1, that's it. Like once it hit $1, it has its actual value, full value, because it's almost at 41 cents right now. So
here's the great description, JB. I think people just find the notion of the rich getting even richer and squeezing everyone else for a bigger share of the pie for an even smaller group of clubs objectionable. I am Captain Obvious. Obviously, JB, of course. Absolutely. So there you go. We shall see. We shall see what ends up happening.
I mean, after watching Ted Lasso, I'd be pissed in a motherfucker. Don't come in here and shut down that wonderful team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Haskell 420. I actually am working on booking somebody for either tomorrow or Thursday's Blurs. Tomorrow, probably not because it's 420, and I think neither one of us will be in it through the whole episode.
There you go.
Good
to know.
And words in the suburbs. We have locked down Neil Patrick Harris.
We got Doogie. We got Doogie.
No, dude. Fuck Doogie. I mean, I know that was his big thing. For me, it was Neil Patrick Harris as Neil Patrick Harris and Harold and Kumar. That was that. Whoo, Lord.
Yes, hilarious. All right, let's move on to another story here. Aaron Donald. Well, this is a false accusation.
Yeah, what happened here? I saw the initial story, and then what happened? The guy apologized?
Yeah, he did. A man earlier this week accused Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams defensive end Aaron Donald, of assaulting him outside a Pittsburgh area club. He issued a public apology because surveillance video came out that appeared to show Donald was actually breaking up a fight between the man and several other people. This gentleman, exactly. The gentleman's name is DeVincent Springs. He said, "I wanted to make this statement public and to extend an apology to Aaron for what he's gone through, but I clearly know this was not him." He said that through his attorney. Donald had previously stated through his attorney that he did not assault Springs, but had instead saved him, Springs, from injury against other people.
Well, and I saw that eye. He didn't escape injury.
Yeah, true.
You saw that picture? His eye was blown up.
Could have been worse, according to Aaron.
Okay.
Casey White said on 93.7 The Fan, Mr. Spriggs starts walking toward Aaron, and he's yelling. He's drunk. That's Mr. Spriggs, who is drunk, and he's aggressive. And Aaron sees something in his right hand, and at first he thinks it's a gun, but it's actually a long liquor bottle. And this guy goes at Aaron and swings with his right hand, and Aaron ducks. The bottle then grazes the top of Aaron's head. Aaron has a lump on his head from the bottle, and that's when all hell breaks loose because apparently a bunch of Aaron Donald's people grabbed this motherfucker from behind and started kicking the shit out of him. And Aaron Donald waded into his people, pulled off of Spriggs to protect him, and then Spriggs is going to turn around and try to put this motherfucker in jail.
Yo, you don't think
drunk idiot?
You don't think if somebody takes a sucker swing at Jay's head that I'm not gonna fucking just go ape shit on a motherfucker? The funny thing is though, Jay wouldn't try and stop me or pull the guy out of the fight. He'd be like, "Yeah, whoop his ass."
Because here's the problem: I'd have to hurry up, and we'd have to hurry up and whoop his ass before somebody get a chance to get a phone out clearly. Because the last thing either one of us need is our faces identified. Like, ain't that one of like? God damn it, we had careers. Like,
that's when you go. It wasn't us. It was the words of the suburbs.
Yep, I would have my phone out recording immediately just to help you guys out.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, he's out here like, oh snap. Shit, Winston and Jared whooping that motherfucker's ass.
World Star.
World Star.
It's been a while. I gotta bring it back. How long?
Anyway,
is World Star still around? I haven't heard
it's
from
around. It's around, but fuck, man, that's hilarious.
This is the kind of shit, though. You hear this story, and you're like, motherfucker should be put in jail for 20 years for this shit because it stops people from trying to take advantage. Listen, you got to teach them a lesson. These people don't listen. They don't learn. You make false accusations against these athletes who are just trying to maybe go out and try to have some fun. Yes, they get to play in the NFL and all that shit, but they're also human beings and they want to hang out at a fucking club and have some fun with their friends. But motherfuckers got to get drunk and get belligerent because they got shitty lives and they didn't do the best with what they had. And they want to go at a guy like this. You know, Charles Barkley threw motherfuckers through windows when they were trying this shit. You know, Aaron Donald speaks volumes to the kind of person he was, that he took a hit from a dude from a liquor bottle. And instead of letting his people stop this guy in the dust, he waded in and saved this guy from worse injuries. So Aaron Donald should definitely be revered for this particular situation. And I don't know about other stuff, but certainly for this decision. Yeah. So just crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
First of all, who wants to take that chance that Aaron Donald accidentally swings back? Like, let's say Aaron didn't. Let's say he didn't have it.
Who's swinging at him?
Because let's say he didn't have that self-control. Let's just keep it. Let's say he did. Let's say he had one of those. Let's say he went out with the guys because he didn't had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? He had to probably had a drink or two, and then his emotions already high. And
what is those Aldon Smith?
And
oh my god! Oh my god! This guy's dead.
Yeah, he's choked out at least.
Aldon Smith probably has his head in his living room. Oh my god! Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All I'm saying is the more I look at this is just like a very much no good deed goes unpunished. Like literally, homie dodged getting slapped upside the head with the bottle. Didn't put hands on homie. Just was like trying to duck and weave, and then pulled his homies off homie that decided to start the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, probably stopped that man from getting murdered. And you want to try and come for him? Like, bro, I hope that they countersue this motherfucker. And all of Aaron Donald's legal fees are paid for by this dude that did this.
Yes, I agree. You know he won't, because Aaron's like, this is probably a poor guy. He's not gonna be able to do that. But Aaron should, and maybe the authorities should for sure, because we got to stop these false accusation stuff, man. It's the athletes are human beings, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's move on to the next story. I don't think we've got any more Streamlabs that have come through. No. All right. If you want to send something in, we got about 15 minutes left in the show. So this comes to us from the from Mike_Callow, who's connected here with his sources in the NFL in DC. He just took a survey supplied from the Washington football team pertaining to the name. He's not sure if it's real or not, but the media, and he's not sure if it's been announced yet, but these are the names that he was asked to weigh in on.
Let's hear
Mike. Yeah, let me share the screen so you guys can take a look at it. All right, go ahead. You gonna put it up or? I got it. There it is. Let's take a look at this thing. These are the names they're looking at. The Washington Aces.
Hold on. I got
a longer list.
The 30. I didn't want to get into the 30 list. You want to bring up the 30 list? All right, hold on.
That's up to you.
Stop the share. Go ahead. Do you have it?
Yeah, here you go.
There's 30. They're considering 30.
30 names. 30 names.
Oh man,
you want to read them?
Yeah. Aces, ambassadors, anchors, archers, armada. Okay, aviators, beacons, belters, brigade, commanders, defenders, demon cats, First City Football Club, the FCFC, Griffins, Guardians, Icons, Majors, Monarchs, Pilots, Presidents, Razorbacks, Red Tails, Red Wolves, Red Hogs, Renegades, Riders, Rising Royals, Rubies, Swifts, Warriors, Washington, D.C. Football Club, Washington Capital City Football Club, Wayfarers, Wild Hogs, 32 FC, and football team. 32 FC. I don't know if I
think that's the 1932 when they were founded as a
club. I mean, I like DC Football Club personally. DCFC is kind of fire.
I don't know, man, because it sounds too much like soccer, like football.
Yeah, how do you put that on a helmet, man?
Yeah.
What's your
just
symbol?
Put DC, bro. Just put DC in the seat. You chilling.
I kind of like.
Yo, I want Demon Cats just for the fuck of it.
Oh,
just to see something say, "Welcome to the Washington Demon Cats."
That's an XFL team, man.
What the fuck is a Demon Cat, by the way?
I still don't hate
Bobcat. That Bobcat that went after dude's wife and then dude slugged his shit.
Yeah,
I still don't hate Red Tails.
I don't really. I think that's.
I don't hate that, man. I don't know. What do you like?
I don't like Red Tails because I don't need that racist asshole who just.
And that's what I was going to say.
Ownership.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying when you said Red Tails, Winston. I'm shaking my head like, nope.
Yeah.
So what do you like, Rocha? Like if you,
I don't want him to cover himself in the glory of black men who serve for this country. Yeah,
totally understand that.
I've always liked Warriors. I like Washington Warriors. It keeps the vibe of the original Redskins there without having to show the iconography or the racist stuff within it. So you keep the colors, you keep the look.
There's already a basketball team. I hate when the football
Golden State Warriors. Oh yeah, I get your point. But I like it for football. I think it's great. Renegades is cool too. I do Renegades. I don't mind Renegades.
Bad.
Because
not after January 6th.
Well, all I was gonna say is, can you imagine though, that every time they score a touchdown, because I'm a motherfucking renegade. Never been afraid to say what I want to say every time of day. Because
gentlemen, I'd like to say that Chris Taylor is in the comments in the chat, and he has the answer.
All right, hold on.
Please.
I mean, we know the answer. We've said it
several times.
Of course.
We've said it. The thick. You weren't here for the shade to eat. That was.
I don't like
that
it.
was. You don't like it?
Dick.
No, not dick. Thick.
Thick. That's what I said. Thick.
Like the reason. Okay, let me explain, because we did a whole. I should make you go watch the episode.
You don't like booty, JT? You don't like booty?
It's literally this. We were having.
Give it up for the Washington Dicks. What? No.
Even Cheryl agrees.
Cheryl is here. Cheryl is here. We were asking the ladies that were watching the show. We were like, "Yo, we've heard that like ladies also like asses, but especially football players. A lot of ladies will watch football and be like, "Girl, you see number 54's ass." So you have both the idea that the ladies are loving the dudes' asses, then we loving the Washington cheerleaders. So the team as a whole is the Washington Thick, and this is how they cheer. They be making them ass clap.
Yeah, but you don't see the cheerleaders for 90% of the game, maybe 95% of the game.
We won't see cheerleaders anymore anywhere. They just made it a co-ed dance team.
Oh, okay. So
you know what? You can take the candy out of the kitchen. Danny is still going to find a way to get to his candy. So let me just put that on the table for someone who's got 25 sexual assault allegations against him from these cheerleaders. So, he's a fucking dick. I wish he would sell the goddamn team.
Well,
and I
there you go. Washington Dicks.
The Washington Dicks.
As long as he's on the team, he's the Washington Dicks.
Perfect. The Washington diminutive racist assholes. I put it there. That's the team. That's the fucking team.
Commanders. The Commanders ain't bad. Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
The whole Generals. Washington Generals. Like, how's Generals not on there?
I like Brigade, but I like Brigade or Armada. I do like those, but I don't know if they fits for Washington. Do you know what I'm saying?
I wish they could have something with a W would be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, right. That's why I think Warriors are better for overall.
Aviators. No, I don't know.
But that limits it, right? Just the Aviators. I don't know. I think there's more.
I don't love any of those names. Just put it that way. Washington Whiteskins. Oh my lordy.
What was the joke that people made?
Caucasians.
The Washington Caucasians. that one got me. That one got me.
No, David. The Washington Wood Thrush. No, David. No,
that sounds like a porn team. You'll give it up to the Washington Wood Thrush.
Hey, bring back Washington Bullets, man. I don't know.
No.
Warhogs.
Warhogs. That's not bad.
Yeah,
what about Warhawks?
Warhawks, I like.
Hey,
I kind of dig Warhawks.
I kind of dig that one.
Yeah. Is that one of the choices?
No, but that should be.
It should be.
The Warhawks.
But Mike Callow limited. He said he got sent in just a list of 10 names instead of the 30. So they might have pared it down to these 10. Aces, First City Football Club, Archers, Beacons, Belters, Red Tail, Razorbacks, Defenders, and Football Team. I have a sneaking suspicion that this disgusting little idiot is going to go with Red Tails to try to PR
save his
cover himself. Yeah. And
makes sense.
Gonna fucking frustrate the shit out of me.
He just bought majority of the team. Also,
yes, he did.
Yes,
he did.
Yeah, is there any chance of him getting kicked out of there?
Not now.
No,
not after he bought the whole owner, because the NFL wouldn't have let him buy the rest of the owners out.
Yeah,
if they were going to get him kicked out. So, and he's been hiring black people and women left and right now. All of a sudden, he's woke all of a sudden to try to save his ass, and it frustrates the shit out of me that we have
PR stuff. Like it's all PR stuff.
It is all at the end of the day, yes. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, what decisions, and then going with what names.
It won't be this year, will it? I think it's going to be another year of Washington football team.
It will be another year of Washington football team. So Mark Ellis doesn't have to sell his gear. He can keep it.
No, it becomes a collector's item. It's like the same. Like having a Rockets jersey was a collector's item. The 2 years he won the title because Michael wasn't in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think they should let him do it if he sells the team. You can call it Red Tails, but you have to sell the team. Yeah. I think that's the better way.
I think that sounds about a fair trade-off.
Don't you think?
It won't happen. It won't happen.
I know it won't happen because he wants them.
Ooh, what about the Washington filibusters?
No.
The response of all three of you was very unique, but kind of fucking hilarious. Like y'all were all equally not amused, but in different ways. It's pretty great.
Just the Washington Q. Just put a big fucking Q on the helmet and be done with it. God help us all. Anyway, all right, let's get out of here. We're done with all the sports stories. We got to roll. Thank you all so much for joining us live this week for Game Time. Really appreciate it. Not a lot of Streamlabs and Super Chats came through. Maybe it's just a tough Monday all around, but next week come back and join us live. Maybe you'll be willing to send in some more next Monday. We'd really appreciate it. Madly, thanks to Jay Washington, Winston A. Marshall, and JTE. Jay, what do you got to promote, brother, man? Once you're done putting an Instagram post up, go ahead. Tell me what you got to do.
You can kiss my ass. Anyway, Twitter. Speaking of Instagram, Twitter and Instagram, Mr. J Washington. You can see it down here on the lower the thing, whatever. The episode 84 of the Mad Titan podcast is up right now, and youtube.com/JAY Washington 80. My trailer reaction for the Shang-Chi trailer came out, and my reviews for Falcon and Winter Soldier are there also. And tomorrow, and Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. youtube.com/Blurs in the Hood. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and it just happens to be 420 on the same day.
Oh, snap.
So we are going to do something special. We're going to do something special that we're gonna just trust me on this.
Okay.
Just trust me. I don't the look Winston just gave me was like, nigga, what are you talking about?
It's making unilateral decisions here.
What do you got, Winston?
Instagram. I'll be on SCN tomorrow. Man, why they got me working so much on the Lord's Day tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So I got Blurs come through and hang. Inner Geekdom Show, the season finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier is happening this week. I've got the reigning movie trivia Schmodown champion, the GOAT by many, not to this guy apparently, but the GOAT. Will be joining me on the show, so definitely you don't want to miss that. That's pretty much it right now. The main thing is me just trying to fucking recover. It's the big thing. So
I'm wishing you the best, man. JT, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter, JT Move Things, and I do have a match coming up this Friday.
Yeah,
against Ben Goddard. My return to the Schmodown ring. Looking forward to it. Finstock Exchange all day, every day.
All day, every day.
We'll see how many days that lasts. Anyway,
listen, manager of the year right now is a walk away with
the Finns TKO exchange. Just call us that. The Finns TKO
exchange. Guys, as your commissioner.
Are you coming out of the shadows now all of a sudden? Oh, yeah, what's up?
You didn't hear the announcement already?
No,
as your commissioner.
I don't like to watch bad movies. Go ahead. Yeah, what were we going to say?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
At least I'm in them. Anyway,
I'm in them. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
You jerk. As your commissioner, Rocha, I swear to God, you will be playing in the FCL league as far as I'm concerned.
You try that. You go ahead and try that. You see what happens. Tanya Harding, 2 words for you.
Wow. No more fucked up leg jokes, you son of a bitch. This shit hurts.
Apologies. Anyway, all right. Anything else, JT? You good on your plugs?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it.
All right, don't forget the Words in the Suburbs coming out soon. There,
yeah, Patrick Harris, Rick Moranis, week after. Getting up,
you can follow. Do it all. Line them all up. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Please don't forget to subscribe down below. You know, marching so close to 17,000 subscribers. Get us past that and start marching towards 20,000 if you enjoy all the content we got going on here. We also got our Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 5 spoiler review up with Kalinowski now. The Geek Buddies talking with him about this whole thing, breaking it down. And we might be live this week at some point. We'll let you know if we're going to go live for our review of the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Looking forward to it. But Impolite Truths on Thursday. To Outlaw Nation show tomorrow night with the kid, Brendan Meyer, stopping by for a couple hours to hang out with the Outlaw. It's going to be a lot of fun hanging out with him. Haven't talked to him in a bit. So remember, put that on your calendar as well. All right, that's it. We're out of here. I got to go do stuff. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Practice social distancing. Wear your damn mask and get vaccinated. We love you. We'll see you next week for another live episode of Game Time. Peace.